Ladies and gentlemen, we have news. Mike McCarthy, couldn't believe it. Got a text. I said, no way. Looked at my phone, said, Schefter, breaking news. Got to be Belichick. Nope. Cowboys are bringing back Mike McCarthy for year 4. No, year 5 next year. Here's a live look at Kyle Shanahan, the NFC. Whoa. What are we doing here, Dallas? I thought 81 years old, everybody. Not everybody, actually. Greg Olson tweeted today. People thought, all the talking heads thought I was crazy because Greg called it crazy talk to say Mike McCarthy should get fired. I think people didn't think it was crazy talk that Mike McCarthy would return. I interpreted certainly what I said as Mike McCarthy should get fired if the Cowboys really want to go win a Super Bowl. They think this is what's best for them. Fine. But Mike McCarthy coming back for the Cowboys only helps the rest of the NFC. Nick Sirianni not getting immediately fired only helps the rest of the NFC. So as the Niners and Packers prepare to play this week, it only looks more real today than it did yesterday that the future rivalry in the NFC or the rivalries of the NFC, like truly, Niners, Rams still got a shot. We'll see what Seattle does. Cowboys will be a rival. Eagles will be, a rival. But if we're talking about winning Super Bowls, Dallas is not going to compete to win Super Bowls. And as I've said, since the first game he coached, I'm going to have to go check the tape one of these days and pull the evidence from game number 1. I remember it. It was a loss to the Rams. And I said, after that day, on Sunday, September 13th of 2020, they hired the wrong guy. Not fired the guy, but they hired the wrong guy. He is a good coach. He is a – hold on. Okay. Wrong mic? Nah. There we go. This should be a little better now.
There we go. He is a good coach. He is a legitimate NFL coach. He belongs in the NFL. But if your team wants to be a Super Bowl champion, Mike McCarthy's just not the answer. He's won a championship before, right? So people say, well, he is a Super Bowl championship, level coach. Well, he did that with Aaron Rodgers, and he does not have Aaron Rodgers. So they got a lot to figure out. By the way, long day today. Was not planning to stream January 17th here Wednesday night, but I just had to when I saw this story. What's coming up from me here in the next probably 24 hours or so? John and I are going to do a live stream on Thursday morning around 9 a.m. Pacific. I interviewed Juwan Jennings today, asked Juwan a question he said no one's ever asked him, which is always the goal when you're interviewing somebody. Ask them a question they've never been asked. And also had a conversation with Cam Inman. He's seen every second of Brock Purdy in the locker room, watched him operate with people. He's covered the team for a quarter century. So is this a lock blowout? I talked to Cam about that. So that's content that's coming up here on the YouTube channel. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, that sort of thing. Appreciate that very much. This is a mess. And, I do think I heard Steve Young say this a little bit today. Steve said, I don't take extra pleasure in the Cowboys' failures. I grew up a Roger Staubach fan. I liked the Cowboys. I know I became a Niner, and so there became a rivalry. But I don't say this. He's not doing like the Stephen A. thing. We're just laughing about the Cowboys. Neither am I, by the way. Like, I just think they clearly have the wrong coach, and they refuse to try and upgrade. They're afraid to upgrade because they're afraid it's going to go backwards. And what Steve basically said is that they have not had a coach in Dallas since Jimmy Johnson, who really made the players feel like, and I'm paraphrasing Steve Young's comments, that the buck stops with him. And I thought it was a really illuminating statement, right? When the owner talks after all the games, when the owner does a weekly radio show, how can you convince the players that the person they must satisfy above all others is the head football coach? Is that the reason that they're not a championship level team? I don't know if it's the reason, but I absolutely believe that is a contributing factor to everything the Cowboys have gone through since they fired Jimmy Johnson, since Jerry Jones made the mistake of firing Jimmy Johnson. There's no way to deny that the environment that is created there it's a very extremely high standard of business. It's an impressive, leading edge of the sword, high standard of business when it comes to NFL operations. But in terms of making sure everything is aligned perfectly for the football team to win as many games as possible, there are better ways to do it, probably. And it sucks because if you're a Cowboys fan, you've got this owner who wants to win as bad as you do, which is a gift in many ways, right? Better than an owner who's apathetic or an owner who wants to save money or an owner who doesn't really care that much about football. That's not Jerry, but it feels like maybe it's gotten to the point of that, or it's been not gotten a detriment to the Dallas Cowboys, which means, in other years you'd say, like even last year, you'd go, all right, well, fine. I thought they should have fired him last year, but they changed coordinators on offense. Maybe they feel like Dan Quinn's going to leave. They'll replace defensive coordinator. I don't know. Maybe they'll bring him back if he doesn't go to Seattle. But last year it was not what you have this year. What you have this year is an incredible Tomlin, Belichick, Vrabel. I'd say I would not hire Pete Carroll in Dallas, but Pete Carroll. Pete would, you know what? Pete would bring them a level of physicality. That's where, like, if you were to look at Seattle and go, well, who do they hire? Do they hire Vrabel? Is it Vrabel paired with Arthur Smith? That'd be pretty good. That's really smart offensive coach, good offensive coach, and physicality, toughness, high standard. Dallas does not have a button-down operation. We've seen it repeatedly. They make mistakes in crunch time. We saw them on Hard Knocks 2 years ago. They did a bunch of drills, as Mike McCarthy called them, the mojo moments. And then you watch them in the mojo moments, and they fail. They struggle in clutch situations against the Niners. They could not manage the end of the game. I'm talking the 21 season, not what happened last year. They could not manage the end of that game in 21. They made multiple mistakes in that game that were premeditated mistakes, right? Like, there are some just regular mistakes. Mistakes happen. Humans are human. But they ran a key third down play at home where they ran the receiver right into the sunlight. Couldn't see the ball. Didn't catch it. All right. Well, sometimes the sun gets in your eye on the road or in an open stadium. But this is the Cowboys stadium. They know where the light is. They know what time the game's kicking off. They know what's up. It's their field. They should be able to account for that. They ran a trick play early in that game, you might remember, where they tried a throwback pass, which would have worked, like a hook and lateral, but the lateral was a throwback. Would have worked, I guess, if it had worked, but it didn't work. It wasn't even close to working. It was an incredible display of risk and reward, and they didn't get the reward, and they're lucky it didn't hurt them more. And then they had the crazy situation where they went for it, fake punt, fourth down, picked it up, then left the punt team out there to mess with the Niners, and the Niners just did nothing. And then the Cowboys had to waste a timeout, which, guess what? They needed later. So just, that's my issue with them. My issue with them is not that I've heard great things about Mike McCarthy from people that have played for him. People like him. People think he's a good coach. But I know when I watch them in big games, if your standard is championship. Now, if these are the Bears, and they're not talking about the Super Bowl all the time, right? Or these are the Texans, I got no issue. Whatever. It's all gravy. You're the Cowboys, and you say the standard is Super Bowls. Your actions say otherwise. Their actions say otherwise. And ultimately, that's good for the 49ers. It's good for whoever, really. I mean, it's good for the teams that want to hire Belichick or Vrabel or Harbaugh. Tell me Jim Harbaugh. If the Cowboys hired Jim Harbaugh, they'd be in the Final Four guaranteed next year. The NFC Final Four. Guaranteed. But, whatever. Jim, who knows? That's out of there. Jim's doing whatever Jim's doing. So here we are. And it's just absolutely stunning. Dallas is going to, I got a prediction on the Cowboys. They're going to be a point differential. They're going to be a point differential borderline champion again next year. This is the guy. It bears repeating. I don't say this to beat a dead horse or to mock. I say it because I thought it was really telling. And it was a joke to everybody, and I don't think it's a joke. He got hired. Everybody knew the story that he told Jerry Jones. I watched every snap from the 2019 season when I was out of work because he got fired by Green Bay in 2018. Ed Werder stands up in the introductory press conference and says, Mike, what'd you learn? What'd you learn watching every play of 2019? Mike says, made that one up. I just wanted the job. Hi, Jerry. I don't think it's very funny. I think it was telling then. I think it was a red flag then. And I think it's indicative of kind of what they've been, which is a little full of it as a team. Not buttoned down. You got to be buttoned down to win a championship for the most part. Maybe there's an exception, but buttoned down, meeting all your ducks in a row. You do the little things right. You hammer the details. You're physical. You tackle. Your teams are mentally tough, and they know how to operate in crunch time. And to me, when a person says the most critical detail of my job interview turns out to be a detail I lied about, but just because I wanted the job. In other words, the ends justify the means. Then it tells you, well, are they going to take shortcuts other places? And I think Dallas is a shortcut team. I think they've been a shortcut team, and shortcut teams don't win championships. Because they are the Dallas Cowboys as a franchise, they get to hang around the front of the line, which doesn't bother me at all. It's great for the league. You need good guys. You need bad guys. You need franchises with huge fan bases, and you need fan bases that hate those franchises, right? Like Jimmy Johnson said when they put him in the Ring of Honor a few weeks ago. He said to all the Cowboys fans out there and to all the other fans who hate the Cowboys, thank you. It's a gift. It really is. I mean, it's what the NBA needs. It's what baseball. It's why I think the Dodgers, if the Dodgers don't win the World Series this year, be an absolute gift for baseball. The Dodgers winning a bunch of games, being a good team, maybe an excellent team, and not winning the World Series would be a gift for baseball. Because, any casual baseball fan is going to be rooting against them. And you need that. You need that. And Dallas has continued to be just that, I don't dislike them. I don't root against them necessarily. But they are all of these things that are perfect for the league as a character in the play. But they are not a championship team. They are not a championship team. Robbie on the stream says, guy looks miserable. It's a moment to celebrate. Cowboys going to be eliminated in the playoffs for at least another year. I'm not miserable. I'm happy. Their defense and Dak lost them the game. Their defense was so bad in that game. That's why the Niners will win. You can't fire them after a 12-win season. Of course you can. If your goal is to win a championship and every year you get into the playoffs and you don't get close, you can't fire him after 12-win season. Well, I got bad news then. You're never going to fire him because he wins 12 games every year and doesn't get close to the championship. He won 12 games in his second year. He won 12 games in the second year. He won 12 games in his third year. And he just won 12 games in his fourth year. So if the standard is win 12 games, raise another banner. He's going to win 12 games again next year. And they're going to have a great point differential. And, their schedule will be harder next year. But nothing's going to change. I watch them in the playoffs. They can't hang. Chris Forrester today, who was the 49ers offensive line coach, said that after the Rams beat the Niners in week 18, he texted a few of his buddies who are on the Rams coaching staff. And he said to them, hey, congratulations. And a couple of them said back to him, we'll see in a couple weeks, meaning we're going to beat the Lions and then we'll play you guys on January 20th. And he said back to them, no, we're going to see the Packers, right? If the Packers and the Rams both won, the Packers are the lower seed, the 7th seed. So they were going to play in this game. And he said he knew it. He'd been watching the Packers and that he thought the Packers were going to beat the Cowboys. He was right. That was a good pick by him. Now he knows the Cowboys. He also had been impressed with Green Bay. So I think it was kind of a double-edged deal. But I thought it was very telling. I got a few people that were like, this is annoying when you do this. It's not good on my voice either, which is not even close to 100%. Here we go. That's it. That'll be the one. Julia says Cowboys 12-5 regular season record inflated by weak division. Maybe the best available coach pool ever, and they stick with meh. I mean, part of this is, Tomlin's not available right now. Doesn't appear. Let something happen while I was in Santa Clara all day. Who said that about the Packers winning? 49ers offensive line coach Chris Forster. I was in Santa Clara today at the 49ers facility. I was sitting there and he said it. I watched him say it. This is a remarkable day for the league and a remarkable day for every team that, you know what? You know who else this is good for? Just occurred to me. It's good for Philly because Philly has problems and I don't know if they're going to solve them with Nick Sirianni. Well, they better find a coordinator and a DC, an OC and a DC, and an assistant head coach or something. Because the problem isn't just play calling. The problem is physicality. But mostly it's play calling. So they're going to try and solve the problem with play calling and hope that it doesn't go so well that that person gets another job. But at least for them in their division, Dallas didn't just hire a guy that's, McCarthy is much better than Sirianni. Let me be very clear. McCarthy's much better. But, Philly's losing Jason Kelce. So they're going to lose the tush push, I guess, in theory. They got a lot to figure out. That division, I think some people are going to, one of the popular kind of talking points this offseason is going to be that Washington, if they can get a quarterback, is kind of a sleeper. I can already feel that topic coming a little early on that. Let's see them get a quarterback. They don't have their guy. And a coach. But, if Washington ends up with Belichick, you go, whoa. Could they win the NFC East next year? The Giants what a bizarre division. For back-to-back years, people thought they had 2 Super Bowl contenders. Just a bizarre division right now. A lot of flash. A lot of flash. I feel for them, man. Cowboys fans, a lot of them. I got some, we all have met numerous, what's the word I'm looking for? Numerous friends that are Cowboys fans. We all have them. And it's like I don't even think they're real sad anymore. Like it's not fake sad, but it's like eye roll Cowboy sad. Like here, this is what we do. This is us. It's not even real sad. It's bizarre. That's a confidence boost knowing Forster's been scouting them. Yeah, here we go. All right. I'm not going to, that's really hard on the voice. Jerry Jones afraid he'll die if they win, so he keeps aiming for losers. Well, there's a theory. 81 years, he'll be 82 next year or this year. All right. Classic. When I plug stuff in and out, something gets a little echo at the beginning because I unplugged the computer to take it to Santa Clara with me, Levi. So to everyone that powered through the beginning, shout out to you. And don't forget that coming up here, content soon, conversation with Juwan Jennings and conversation with Cam Inman. And let's see, Thursday morning, 9 a.m. with MIDDLEKAUFF. So that's what's up, everybody. Talk to everybody soon. Later. Thank you for jumping in, by the way. In the evening. You guys like the evening? We'll do picks tomorrow. You're here right now. Hit that like button. More people will see it. Trent Williams coming back. I saw Trent's locker. I'll make a note to talk about this tomorrow. Trent is never quite say anything like it. It's pretty cool. All right. Evening. People like evenings. Yeah. Well, good. All right, everybody. Adios. Thank you. Hit that like button. You're at the door. That helps a lot. We appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And we outie. Later.